welcome to episode 18 of Power Podcast. We're your hosts, Christopher, CJ. So today we're talking about a few topics. First one is having a strong mental ability, or setting yourself right, keeping your mind straight. Second topic will be about minimizing risk of injury, high-probability scale, and how to know when to back off in a workout. Also talking about rest days and off-diet days. So first topic is the strong mental ability. Mainly, there's a lot of athletes that I see that really get stressed over of a workout or something like that. They get really stressed with performing at a high level, and that's all they can think about. Can't usually get much sleep, something like that. You know how like happens? At a high level performance. But
a lot of people get that way around the open too. The open kind of brings that mental game into a whole different aspect of it for you, because you will have, usually a workout is just a workout, right? It doesn't mean anything. You want to do well at it, but if you don't do well, no big deal, right? Unless you're competing. But the open brings out people really strong. Like I'm probably one of the people who in the open gets a little bit more worked up than I need to be. So, a good way to approach working out, man, is it's supposed to be stress relieving. It's not supposed to be, not supposed to be something that adds stress to your life, right? So you want to approach it mentally, as if it's just a workout. Obviously, have a strategy for it, but approach it just like a workout. Any other workout that just go after it. I don't care if it's something that's going to be a goal for you, where they were doing muscle ups and you can't really do. Like today's workout, we had 6 muscle ups, and that was prescribed for the workout. You can't always do 6 muscle ups. Sometimes you can only do 1 or 2 in a round. So you scale down appropriately. You do 2 in a round, and you move on to the next thing, huh?
I think I got none today.
You got none? See? So sometimes you just gotta know what you're all about and where your level's at, and then pushing that level, right? You have to be able to mentally know where you're at so you can push that ability and get better that day. It's all about getting better that day as well. So getting a good workout and getting better that day, which you really want to focus on mentally.
The couple of things that usually works for myself. I'm not, as myself as an athlete, I'm not in a zones where I am just focusing on competing performance. I'm more focusing on moving well. Well, that should be how you're performing as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's going to be a little more risk, but right now I'm just focusing on moving well, focusing on different movements, doing still the workouts. But with myself, since I'm not in a state to where I have to be stressed constantly, I would just say workout performing at a high level. More of these workouts are just, they set me at a certain spot for my sympathetic nervous system. Basically, when it comes to your body, two different systems. Sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic. I was going to say
sympathetic and non-sympathetic.
I was going to say pathetic. Parasympathetic nervous system.
Sympathetic and pathetic nervous system. The pathetic one is the one that cries in the ground in the fetal position.
Yeah. A lot of high-level athletes are usually in sympathetic nervous system. That's usually your fight or flight mode. When it comes to actual animals out in the wild, you can see a lion be in the sympathetic nervous system when they want to chase after a gazelle. I think a gazelle is probably
that's about right. Yeah.
Then usually they're resting most of the part of the day because they're in a survival mode. Survival mode comes when a short burst of intensity gets introduced to whatever type of organism it is. That includes us. Usually, when you take a lion, for example, usually they're resting throughout the day. They're in their parasympathetic nervous system. So their blood levels, blood levels, sugar levels, things like that, they aren't high at all. They're actually at a resting level. But when you take us humans, for example, just putting together work, driving in traffic, just those two, there can be more different factors, but those two activate the sympathetic nervous system, and you're stuck in that throughout the day. Then also, if you're not getting enough rest, enough sleep, then you're still stuck in that during that. If you're asleep and your rest, sure, that's when your muscles are actually rebuilding. You're actually getting
Cortisol, is that what you're looking for?
no, I was just thinking of getting enough rest.
Okay.
No, it wasn't that advanced in my mind.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah.
That brings me to a point, when it comes to, the workout as well for the day, or whatever you're doing. It can be moving rocks around your backyard, putting the landscape. You should be always thinking about trying to maintain a relaxed state. Like you want to be going, right? Depending on what the workout is. If we're doing Fran, you want to be as relaxed as possible while you're doing Fran. Like I come from a sports background, football and track and field back in high school, which is a long time ago. But the fastest sprinters, when they sprint, they're running super hard and they're tense in certain spots, but on their face you can't even tell that they were running a race. Besides the fact that their face is moving up and down from the velocity and from their moving. But you want to be as relaxed as possible in a workout. So even though you might be in your sympathetic nervous system at that time, you want to keep the body as relaxed as possible to mimic being laying in a hammock, basically. You want to be going and going hard, but mentally you should be trying to stay relaxed, trying to stay calm, trying to stay in a place where you can keep moving for the entirety of the workout.
When it comes to your workouts, they should be a healthy level
of stress or healthy level
of stress. Healthy level of stress actually introduced to your body. Just like the lion, for example. The lion, they're chasing after something with a short burst of energy, short duration. That's in the lion's case, they're the hunter. Let's take a gazelle, for example. Short burst of energy being chased by the lion, they're in survival mode. That's their fight or flight. Your workout should be in that kind of nature, should be complementing the rest of your day. That being said, having enough parasympathetic rest time, you can always activate your parasympathetic nervous system by doing meditation type practices like yoga, for example. Just practicing breathing techniques that help. Aren't actually that hard to do. If you breathe throughout your stomach and not a chest breather, so easy way how to.
This is something I've been going with my athletes a lot too. Go ahead.
Easy way how to tell if you're a chest breather or stomach breather. You place your both palms, one on your stomach, one on your chest, and you breathe in. Whichever hand, actually, do this while you're laying on the ground. Whichever hand lifts up first will determine which either chest breather or stomach breather. Most of us are chest breathers, so you'll see our shoulders rise up. Also, if you do suck in your stomach, because you want to look like skinnier, you're most likely a chest breather. That's what I used to do back in the day. I don't do that now. I just don't care. But
this is the thing I've been going on with all my teens athletes, even some of my personal training clients too. Is when we're in the middle of a workout, you want to, like I said, try and stay as relaxed as possible. So try not to panic breathe. That panic breathing into the chest is more going to inch you into fight or flight faster. You're not getting a full breath here. You've seen people after they in the middle of a Fran or something, and they get ahead of themselves. So they start breathing in that chest, start panicking. That's the worst thing that can happen to you in the middle of a workout. You don't want to hit that mode. Occasionally, you got to go there every now and then. That means you're going super hard occasionally. But if you find yourself frequently getting to that point where you're chest breathing and you're getting the Fran cough quite a bit, Fran lung, that's probably because you're not breathing appropriately. You're breathing too much into the chest. Try and bring that breath down into the belly as much as possible. It will help you out substantially in maintaining the pace over the course of a long workout, especially if you're doing something like a Murph or a 20-minute AMRAP even. You want to maintain that pace over the course of 20 minutes. So just try and breathe deeply into the belly. Like I said, I stress it a lot. It's one of those things, breathing techniques, it never really gets discussed in the CrossFit gym, but it's almost just as important as the technique you use to lift the weight, as to how you breathe.
If you're practicing just breathing through your stomach, take a You can practice this way by taking a light weight, like a 5 to possibly 15-pound kettlebell or something that's kind of around there. It doesn't have to be a kettlebell, it can just be a weight. But taking it, place it on your stomach while you're laying down. Try to focus on actually raising the kettlebell while you're inhaling. If you're able to, then you're activating the right system. If you're doing around 3 sets of 10 regularly, you'll practice that at least once a day. You'll look at improving a lot of things, or just being aerobic capacity wise, being able to actually use energy better, perform a little better.
This kind of brings me back to when it comes to the workout and being mentally prepared for it. Like, let's say you do muscle ups and you keep you're number 5 of 6 that round, and you can't get that 6 when you fell 3 times. People tend to, again, have that panic breath. They tend to go to that place where they're fight or flight. They start freaking out. Even more important at that point to gather yourself mentally, take a couple deep breaths into the belly. Make sure you breathe them back down, and then focus on the points of performance there. Whether it's correct pull, correct swing, correct kip, correct turnover, whatever it is. Focus on those points as you breathe deeply into the belly. That way you can have a better performance on that movement.
That happens a lot when athletes do double unders.
That's a big one. That one wrecks people. You'd be surprised. A jump rope will destroy your life.
Yeah, because like I see a lot. We have double unders. Like, say one athlete, they're sort of proficient with double unders. Maybe can do about 10 to 20 unbroken, if possible. But let's say in the workout they just started and they just clipped their toes about 3 times, 3 attempts, and they only got maybe 2 double unders at a time. They know they can achieve more, but it's just not working out. For like in that case, an athlete, they should have the jump rope come to their setup position, like the starter position.
Yep.
Take a deep breath. Take at least 3 deep breaths. Make sure they're bringing their heart rate down a little bit, and then go into your double unders. You don't have to like rush it, because that happens a lot in 17 pounds.
Yep. Double unders, man. Double unders will break you. It's because it's such a simple movement. Like people overlook the simple points of performance on a double under because it's such a simple movement. They think I've done it before, I can do it, and they forget about the simple stuff, like keeping the hands in front of you where you can see them. Or they start flicking their wrist and bringing their hands back, and then they're catching their feet, or they're jumping backwards the whole time. Right? I've seen people move almost 10 feet over the course of a set of double unders. Like, why do I keep catching? Well, you're moving 10, 12 feet back the whole time. As you're jumping backwards, it's not efficient, and you're going to have some issues there. But the more you get into that panic breathing, and the less you calm down and think about the points of performance, the more you're going to get into spots where you're going to keep messing that movement up. It tends to happen. Muscle ups, double unders. Double unders is probably the most common one you see it with. What else is there? You don't see that elsewhere as much. Occasionally people will fail a heavy snatch or something like that, or a heavy clean. They're trying to get in their head and they can't figure out why they keep missing it. Take your time, go back to the basics, take some deep breaths, and then start all over again.
Helpful tip: if you usually have your double unders good, like, or else you're right on the brink of having them, everything looks good, but you're still catching on your toes. Just try flexing your ankle, dorsiflexing. So bringing your toe up to your shin, flexing your ankle that way. So once you jump up, flex your ankle, bring up your toes, then try that.
Dorsiflex.
Oh yeah, that helps.
Not dorsiflex.
Dorsiflex. If you're watching the video podcast, that's dorsiflexion. The other one is plantar flexion. They both have flexion in the name, but bringing your toes up to your shin, decreasing that angle is dorsiflexion.
That's powerful too. Like, that's where you go. You're powerful when you run, you jump. Dorsiflexion, right?
Yeah.
This is more for absorption, real quick. You have dorsiflex, get right back to jumping and running.
You should also dorsiflex when it comes to your ring rows. So bringing your toes off the ground, not having a flat foot on the ground. You're going to activate your glutes a lot more efficiently when it comes to that.
Get it right, get it tight.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's the opposite of what you would do if you're in a hollow position, just hanging in a bar, like a pull bar. Basically, it's just the opposite.
But to bring it back to the mental portion, mentally, you've got to be prepared for every workout, knowing where you're at, right? Knowing your abilities, and then if things start to go haywire, things start to go wrong, go back to the square one. Think about all the points of performance for each movement. Whether it's a clean, if you're getting a full extension, whether if you're getting under that bar fast, you're getting those elbows up, whatever it is, go back to points of performance mentally before you break down and fall apart in that workout. All right.
Yeah.
We've all been there, but it's important to know people who are the best in the world at any sport, in particular CrossFit. Those guys, they might mess up something, but they gather themselves quickly, and they get back to knowing where to start from, and they can figure out where they made that fault at before they start panicking.
Yeah. Just if something's not working, just don't sweat it. When I used to race in motocross, if I fall in the corner, granted the corner was kind of cushiony because it was watered down, but I would know I could do better. I know I can do better. I just wouldn't get mad and get frustrated and have that occur again. Think of what I did wrong and what I'm able to do. Just don't sweat when it comes to your workouts. Just try to stay as chill as possible. If you're around how I usually am, because I'm one of the chillest people you probably meet. That's not a stoner.
Are you sure you're not a stoner?
No, I'm not.
You can't prove it to us unless you take a urine test.
I can.
We'll do that on video too.
That's clear. It's nice. If your pee's clear, then that's good.
I think for most of us too, it's important to note, unless you're super competitive, the workout is supposed to be stress relief for you. It's supposed to be a way to get better in a physical way, but also mental. So the mental game is just as important as the physical game. So don't come in here and over stress about a workout if you can't get muscle ups that day, or if you can't get your double unders. Come in here, try and get better, and just do the work. We're not here to add stress to your life. We're here to make you better as a person. So unless you're a super competitive athlete, there's no need for you to stress about the movement or the workout too much.
Yeah. Also, without stressing about it, through a workout, if let's say you're doing, let's say if you're able to bar muscle ups, some kind of movement like that. Say bar muscle ups when you're doing them after maybe about 5 or else 10 reps through it, 10 good reps. You feel something in your shoulder and something's different. You kind of have to do some arm circles, shoulder circles to see what's happening. If it's not feels different, it's not feeling 100%, you should probably back off on the workout a little bit, maybe modify it to a different exercise or modify it in general just for the same. Your workout should just be training wise that usually throughout the week, this is not when it should be your training hour. It shouldn't be a physical competition hour because there's not a whole lot to gain for getting injured in a workout just because ego is high.
True.
And even if you're recording yourself, I record myself a lot. I recorded myself just today when I was doing the WOD and I wasn't able to get any muscle ups. I made attempts at it, but I just modified it to a different exercise. I don't want to get injured. I don't want to keep my ego up there. I will do what I'm able to do, even though something may arise throughout the workout. Just modify, don't push it to that limit if you feel something is up. If you pick the wrong weight also, for dumbbell thrusters today, pick the wrong weight and it's not happening, really, barely get that thing up, barely stabilize that.
Barely get that thing up, yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead, barely get that thing up.
Yeah, if it's not working, just take that extra maybe 20 seconds to go run over to the dumbbells and just get some lighter ones. You don't have to suffer through the workout at a certain weight that you can't physically lift.
There's a time and a place for that, right? As coaches, we'll help you find that place. Whether it's just 2.5 pounds of what you normally do, or if it's 5 pounds or whatever it is, coaches will be able to gauge where you're at a little bit better than you, because you're not going to be as objective about it. We're going to be a little bit more objective about where you're at physically. But yeah, like Chris was saying, if you get to a point to where you think you're going to hurt yourself in the workout, be conscious of that. the goal here is, like I said, to get better every single day, not to be the biggest, baddest person in the gym all the time. There's days for that, and everybody has their day where they're the biggest, baddest person in the gym. Not everybody. A lot of us have our day. But the goal is to stay healthy, right? We're here to make you healthier, happier, a little better lifestyle, not to make you a CrossFit Games athlete. Most of us aren't going to be Games athletes. Like 99.9% of us won't be Games athletes. So let's try to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Let's try to stay smart about our workouts and try to stay safe. Safety is the number one thing when it comes to working out. We want to keep you safe, and then we want to push you to a place where you're right on that line, going as fast as you can, but we want to keep you safe as much as possible.
Remember, the whole purpose of it is to help you move well, move better, and actually enjoy life better. Also, if you're just thinking about it, if you're doing a workout and if this happens to be on Instagram or else Facebook, it had to be on there. It should be something that you're doing something with good form, not bad form. So, like let's take squats for example. Having your knees cave in. Say if you're doing like snatches or something, you're able to snatch it up, but your knees caving up a lot. Try to focus on your form throughout the workout. Form over speed when it comes to this. So if it happens to be on there, I'm not going to put it on there just because I do the social media. If you happen to have bad form, but if it happens to be on there, you don't want to be one of the gym fails.
Don't be like some of us.
Yeah, but you
some of us have had gym fails that haven't made it to Instagram and will never make it to Instagram. I think a big portion of what we're trying to say here in this portion of the podcast is just check your ego at the door. You don't want to be in the middle of a workout and you picked a weight that was too heavy, or you picked an inappropriate movement, you didn't scale appropriately, but you refuse to not do what everybody else is doing. You refuse to not go RX. Make sure that your ego, when you come through that door, the ego stays outside, because it's about keeping you safe. It's about making you better every day. And if you come in here with a big ego, you're not going to get better because you're trying too hard to do the RX clean and jerk at 225 when you barely clean 235. You're not going to do that many clean and jerks 235 or 225 if you only clean 235. So be smart, man. It's just not about, like I said, being the biggest, baddest person in the gym. It's about being better for you each and every day. So just keep that in mind and scale appropriately. You often see us coaches scale too if we have an injury or something that we're working around. So we all scale. There's nothing wrong with it. The RX next to your name doesn't mean anything. Well, it's a nice little thing to accomplish after a while if you've been working for it. But at the end of the day, it's all about you putting the work in, regardless of the RX next to your name or not. Because at the end of the week, all the whiteboard is erased anyway. So it does not matter. It does not matter.
Yeah, even myself as a coach, as an athlete, I don't RX like a lot of these workouts just because I'm not able to actually lift that amount of weight. I don't have the strength for it. But I'll still do it, even if it's still down. But when we were talking about having strong mental ability, having that parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system actually ties into talking about rest days and off diet days. Rest days should be in your parasympathetic nervous system. They don't have to be completely rest days. So let's say if you come into the gym 5 days in a row, you have 2 days off. I would say try not to be like a log and do absolutely nothing.
Up on a log?
Yeah, I guess.
Try not to be like a log. What? A big brown piece of wood? You can go ahead.
I was thinking about that over there.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, your rest days. Try to at least stay active a little bit. You don't have to work out at all. Just try to enjoy something like a sport or recreational activity. But just stay active, like move around. You don't have to. You don't have to play games for 16 hours straight. I've done this before.
You can also call it active recovery day, right? I try to call my active recovery day because I'm in the gym almost every day now, as it is anyway, for work and for everything else. So I like to think of mine as active recovery day. So I might be here for 2 hours. It might take 20 minutes to just row at a steady pace, not trying to kill myself, not going for any PRs, just rowing to burn some calories, get a sweat going. That's about it. Like, we're not trying to kill ourselves here. We're not just recover. A body has to recover. You get better during recovery, not during the workout. During the workout, you tear yourself down. Recovery is where you get your gains in.
Yeah, your recovery days are your days when you focus more on mobility. You shouldn't be focusing on mobility every day, anyways. Just as hard as you're training. It's really boring to do, but it's still relaxing. On a different podcast, we were talking about 5-minute flow recently. Just as a basic overview, 5-minute flow is when you, as much as I can remember, is when you wake up every day. Just try to go through some mobility stretches and things like that once you wake up, right when you get out of bed. If you stretch like your hamstrings or else calves, something like that, or your shoulders, you're going to see throughout the day that when it comes to a workout, you don't have to spend 30 minutes on mobility right before a WOD or something. So you don't have to spend as much time since you're already mobile throughout the day. You already did some of your mobility at the start of the day once you get up, because probably I've been laying down and sleeping for like 8 hours straight in the same position. So once you wake up, your body is still remembering that same exact position that you got up in, and that's most likely not a great kind of form or position. So once you mobilize yourself right when you get up out of bed, you're already setting yourself up, you're adjusting yourself properly for the rest of the day. So when it comes to your workouts, you don't have to spend as much mobility time, perhaps.
I think a good way to say this too is if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Yeah.
Right. So I keep saying I'm crazy.
Be a supple leopard.
Be a supple leopard, but stay flexible. Hit it in the morning. If you have a desk job, get up, do a little mobility in the middle of the desk job. Reach around.
Reach around what? Computer?
Reach around, grab an elbow. Do some stretching at your desk. But yeah, just stay mobile. Stay after it. So that way, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Yeah.
It takes less time to get ready if you stay ready. Cheetahs don't stretch when they hunt. Nothing, go ahead. I'm getting sleepy, I'm hungry.
Yeah, and just off diet days, most likely it's your rest days.
For some pizza.
There's nothing wrong with having a small meal throughout the week. Like, you don't have to be completely strict. If you're eating well throughout the week, you have one thing, maybe you like cinnamon rolls, and you just eat one cinnamon roll, maybe on.
Say cinnamon again?
Cinnamon?
Okay. It's like you said cinnamon.
I don't know. It's hard to say words. If you like cinnamon rolls and you happen to eat this on a Sunday morning and only one, you can still have it, but it's only one time throughout the week, not multiple times. If it's only like one time throughout the week, then you can see that as an okay off diet day.
Go ahead, sir.
It's just to keep yourself sane, because if you eat avocado, tuna, and hot sauce pretty much every day.
That looked disgusting, by the way.
The sound effects were on fleek.
The sound effects were cool, yeah. The editing was good, but it looked good. It looked gross.
It sounds gross when you mix it together and it looks gross.
Oh, yeah, I know.
But
imagine.
It sounds like somebody, that eats too loud and you
They
just
smack? Yeah, people smack. They're crazy. Were you the one who left the tuna in the sink back there a couple weeks ago? It smelled like tuna. You squeezed tuna can out there. Man, it was stinky. It made the whole office area stink. I would say the best way to think about this is to eat for your goals. Like if your goal is to be a bodybuilder, or if you want to have the most lean physique possible, then yes, stick to your diet 7 days a week. That's what's good. That's what you want to do. That keeps you sane. But for me, I eat 3 cheat meals a week right now. That differs. That varies up and down based on what my goals are at the time. But I eat for my goals. For me, my goal is to be happy and to be able to maintain my diet for a long period of time. Because it's not just I'm not just dieting, right? It's my diet. It's how I eat permanently. So I want to be able to maintain that by keeping myself sane within that too. So my off diet days, I might go ham on some pizza. I might go ham on some Krispy Kremes. That's most frequently the answer is Krispy Kremes. So I might go ham on some of those after I leave here. I might go ham on some Chipotle. So So that's just what I do for my off diet days, or my off diet meals too.
Yeah. So if you eat you don't really know how to cook, but you're eating well, like paleo. I've had a couple of the athletes I coach. They said that they were just feeling antsy after a couple days, and like they really needed something. And one of them had a slice of pizza. It kind of broke down. I have the same thing. I get really like my food's depressing sometimes. Actually, lots of times it is. And I just really want something. I might go and get like a Big C burrito.
Blasphemy. Blasphemy. You only eat Chipotle burritos. How dare you blaspheme like that?
It hasn't gone well after I eat.
Oh, I can imagine.
Burrito.
It's the quality you put in your body.
Well, the Chipotle.
Chipotles are great. I'm just talking about.
But yeah, if you eat too many burritos, you can expect those abs to kind of go away. So that's happened to me. Yeah, if you're going crazy and staying with the strict diet, you're going absolutely insane. Just have one thing throughout the week or something like that. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's something to be said for grinding through the monotony of a consistent diet. There's something to be said for sticking to it and making it how you live now. But if it doesn't appease your goals to go crazy, and you're going crazy eating a certain way, and you're eating the same 3 meals every single day for a month, but have a cheat meal. Like build it in as part of your diet to have a couple cheat meals. Unless you go off the rails, like unless you go like The Rock does, where you have 4 pizzas and two birthday
like
cakes,
a stack of waffles.
Yeah, unless you do that, then you should be fine. Your body will recover just fine. But if you do The Rock thing, it takes you like a 4 weeks to recover from that. So just something to keep in mind.
So after this next part of the podcast, right now we're going to transition to a air squat demo. So yeah, if you're tuning into the video version of this podcast on YouTube, on CrossFit Mob's page, then you'll be able to see the air squat demo.
If not, check it out.
Yeah. So still listen to this podcast.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. We're going to go over the air squat demo one more time here. Okay. I like to start with just making my feet shoulder width apart. All right. Then I'm going to slightly take my hands, I'm going to point out my toes and make sure they're about shoulder width. After that, I'm going to make sure my toes are pointed out just slightly to create a nice track for my knees to track here. We're going to do our order of operations for our squat by taking our hip and pushing our butt back first, then bending at the knees. Okay, so it's hip, then knees, getting down to parallel. Now as we go down here, we're going to push the knees out. Okay, we're going to make sure the knees don't fall in. Push them out here. All right, you want to get a good look at that. Make sure our feet stay nice and flat on the ground here. You should be able to wiggle your toes as well, all right, without sitting too far back in that squat. We're going to push back up after we hit parallel, pushing the knees out all the way up to standing. Again, there's the air squat there. Back up. All right, neutral spine as well. Thanks for tuning in, guys.